India must be concerned about climate change issues, especially for coastal areas, because we know sea is rising for sure, and we have seen plenty of evidences across east and west coast of India where sea is ingressing into human habitation. They are making our freshwater wells saline. They are invading into agricultural land, making agricultural land saline. Unfortunately, the consciousness or the awareness of the people, overall towards climate change is so poor that instead of, going away from the sea, to protect our own, safety, and we are still going close to the sea.
Coastal areas are facing climatic stresses of extreme events such as cyclones, storms, soil salinity, and beach erosions. A study predicts that sea level rise would lead to inundation of seawater in about 5,700 square kilometers of agricultural land along the coastal states of India. Nearly 7 million coastal families could be affected if the sea level rises by 1 meter by 2100. Tamil Nadu's coastline of 1,074 kilometers is vulnerable, and impacts of climate change would affect the livelihoods of coastal communities. However, due to increase in input cost, poor environmental management and diseases, this small-scale aquaculture suffers setbacks in terms of production, value, and acreage.
We saw the famous Pichavaram mangroves, those which are originally famous, but they were under various series of threat. We decided that one of the first priorities will be the regeneration and the conservation of mangrove ecosystems.
I can say that till 2005, the mangrove project was not focused to climate change and other things. It was considered as a normal natural resource management project.
The major aim was, for example, the Pichavaram mangroves. They didn't realize the value of the mangroves, so there was a proposal for a film city there because it's a scenic area. And even now you will find some buildings there. We had to get it all stopped. The importance of mangroves. Fortunately, when the tsunami came, people started realizing wherever there were very heavy mangrove plantation, then there was no tsunami effect, was very marginal.
So after the tsunami, then people started asking questions. Okay, tsunami has come. The people are also saying about the climate change. So what will be the fate of resources in the coastal area as well as in the people? Then we thought that now we will start some project on climate change related issues, particularly in relation to building the capacity related to sea level rise. That's what.
MS Swaminathan Research Foundation innovated a model which integrated mangrove plantation and fish culture in abandoned shrimp farms.
இந்த பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த இடத்துல மட்டும் கல்ச்சர் போயிட்டு இருக்கு. நிறைய டிசீஸ் வந்து அவங்க லாஸ் ஆகிறதுனால அவங்களால வந்து கண்டினியூ பண்ண முடியறதில்ல.
In the model farms that were demonstrated, space for mangrove plantation was created by constructing inner bunds and mounds inside the aquaculture pond. These inner bunds occupy 30 to 35% of space for mangrove plantation, and 65 to 70% is left for fish culture. The model farms are designed to have 3 to 4 feet of water in the pond all the time. This was achieved by keeping tidal outlet 3 to 4 feet above tidal inlet.
இதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த ஃபண்டு வந்து இவங்க சாயில் எரோஷன் இல்லாமல் மழையில் இப்போ அது கவர் பண்ணுறது. இது டெஸ்ட்டுக்காக இது வந்து ஒரு ஹாலோஃபைட்டு செசியம் போட்டிருக்கு எஸ்டம்ட்டு. இது வந்து இதுக்கு முன்னாடி உள்ள இதில் வந்து ஒரு ஒரு பழைய காலத்தில் வந்து கீரையாக பயன்படுத்திட்டு இருந்திருக்காங்க. இதை சாப்பிட்லாம், இதை நிறைய சால்ட் கண்டென்ட் இருக்கும், சாப்பிட்லாம். இதை கல்டிவேட் பண்ண யூரோப்பியன் ஃபாரினுக்கெலாம் ஒரு எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்ணலாம், அனுப்பலாங்கிற ஒரு இதில் டெஸ்ட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இது வந்து பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதுமாரி இந்த சாயில் எரோஷன் ஆகிறதும் பார்த்திங்கன்னா இது அப்படியே இதாகிடுதுல்ல, சாயில் எரோஷன் ஆகிறதுக்கும் சாயில் பைண்டிங் மாரி இது கொஞ்சம் இந்த செடி வந்துட்டு இது பண்ணிட்டு.
Abandoned shrimp farms were taken up for developing integrated mangrove fishery farming system to increase adaptive capacity of coastal communities and salinization due to sea level rise.
This is actually Telugu speaking. They are all migrated from Andhra a long time back. Irula.
Irula.
The snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, snake and rat hunters.
Yes. Yes.
Initially, the basic idea was to ensure the ecological security of this location by restoring the mangrove forest area where the Irula community were depending on for their livelihoods by way of traditional hand-picking method for fishing. When in that context, we the MSSRF and the community came into a partnership.
Because one alone cannot be looked at without the other. There can be no livelihood security without ecological security. There could be no ecological security without livelihood security.
Actually, we involve them in our projects right from the planning and then implementing and monitoring.
They were involved in the restoration of mangrove, and that was linked to the livelihood generation also. And slowly the other developmental aspects of the community was also addressed.
I feel since this model integrate both livelihood as well as the mangrove plantation, there is always a good potential for replication by the community itself as well as by the other stakeholders, particularly the government may take steps to replicate this model in a large scale. Already the adaptation fund, they have given funds to replicate this area in about 50 hectares of land. So we feel there is a lot of potential both in terms of acceptance as well as the availability of saline affected land.
Vulnerability and capacity assessment was carried out in villages of Pichavaram with focus on physical effects due to climate change, particularly sea level rise. Coastal area management programs work for development of bioshields in the Pichavaram mangrove forest area. MS Swaminathan Research Foundation started its program of joint mangrove management for restoration of mangroves in collaboration with Tamil Nadu Forest Department in 1992. This initiative was supported by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, Government of India.
Our attitude here has been, look at not only I have to save the mangrove, I have to save something else, but what about the human beings for whom these are all in? So how to save them, their livelihoods. So the fisher person, fisher woman, you see we have technologies for the people, small scale fishermen. Again we work only with catamaran, the small fishermen, not with the big, large people. So we have technologies for empowering them with reference to fish shoals, location of fish shoal, this height of the wave.
A village knowledge resource center was set up to enhance socio-economic, technical and institutional ability to prepare the communities to face the challenges posed by climate change.
See, what happened was after tsunami, everybody was busy building houses, and that's important. I was a member of the Tata Trust at that time. So I told Ratan that you are building very good houses and that's a very good thing. But can't we put something more permanent for them? He said, what can you do? I said, we'll set up a training center in modern science and technology. He said, certainly, that's a good idea, and they gave the money. When there was nobody interested in this area, we entered the field and not only conserved the mangroves, conserved the livelihoods of the people, created new livelihoods. That is our priority number one in the world, and not foundational. Carrying the earth which supports us is the most important act.